You still favor the 3090? Of course. Of course. Why would you buy a big Navi card? Unless, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. If you can't get stock on an Nvidia card, sure. The real debate is that 16 gigs of VRAM versus the 10 gigs on the 3080. That's fucking tough, dude. That is tough. That's a tough decision to make. The only reason I say that is because, like, you can't add VRAM. Obviously, you can't fucking add VRAM. And even if this is faster, this has more future-proofing legs in it. Kind of, but it can't ray trace at the same time. Like, both of these cards feel like a fucking compromise. Like, both of them are just compromising way too much, you know what I mean? Like this one, if you crank Watch Dogs, it goes to like 11 gigs, and so does like Doom Eternal and shit. It'll still run fine, but maybe in 2 or 3 years from now, when those, like, let's say what's that fucking game, Gears 6, let's say Gears 6 comes out and it cranks like 12 or 14 gigs of fucking VRAM of textures. That sucks. Then you just kind of fucked yourself, you know what I mean? But the big Navi can't ray trace at all anyway, so that's gonna be fucked anyway, you know what I mean? So, like, if you don't have a card yet, wait for the 3080 Ti. That's 20 gigabyte. Or the only card right now that's available that doesn't have any compromises whatsoever is the 3090. It's the only card that does everything. Like 24 gigs, it has the encoder, it has the RTX, it has the 1080p performance, it's got the fucking good silicon, it has the good bin, like, it doesn't draw too much power. Like, this, as of right now, this is literally the only card worth buying, in my opinion. Like, nothing else is worth it right now. It's kind of weird to say that, how, like, it's kind of weird how, like, the most expensive fucking card is the one that is the only one worth buying. Do you know what I mean? But then it's also, like, that's not realistic for 99% of the population. So, if you're in the 99% of people that can't afford this fucking, this stupid fucking price card, wait for the 3080. Because this one will be $1,999. Yeah, and it's gonna come with like 80 or 82 SMs, so it's gonna be a god at ray tracing, and it's gonna have enough VRAM, and it's gonna be cheaper. Like, just wait for that one. That's gonna be the one to wait for any budget-conscious top-end gamer. You know what I mean? If this released, like, if this released on launch day with the 3090, I wouldn't have bought the 3090. I don't need the extra 4 gigs of VRAM. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But it didn't. They obviously delayed that shit, right? I like Heat Killer a lot. Yeah, I've heard great things about Heat Killer, man. Fantastic things. I like Heat Killer. I have literally never heard one bad thing about Heat Killer. Like, no compromises kind of brand. So I would go with it. I'm definitely gonna go with it. I'm gonna try it out. If they come out with, let's say if EK and Heat Killer come out with a Further Win 3 block at the same time, I'll buy the Heat Killer one just to give it a shot, right? I've already had experience with EK. I'm good with EK, right? I hear the the Heat Killer CPU blocks are really good too. Heat Killer's releasing new radiators? Dude, radiator technology is kind of like, it is like radiator tech is like fin density, flow rate, and the materials used inside, and then you just pick your fucking combination. Like, no one's really developed advanced radiator tech in a long, it's been like fucking 20-30 years of the same radiator tech, man. You know what I mean? Like, like when somebody says they're releasing a new radiator, it's like, all right, well, whatever. My 20-year-old one still works just fine. You know what I mean? Not much you can do there. A radiator's a radiator. EVGA is cheaping out, dude. Apparently the hydro coppers are garbage, dude. Yeah, go read the forums on their hydro coppers. Like they skimped out on the amount of copper like fucking crazy. It's actually, it converts your card into like half a slot card. It's not even like one full slot. It's like from this to like this. Like it's like it doesn't even transfer any fucking heat. It actually makes sense. If you look at the pictures of the EVGA hydrocopper, it does look kind of thin. Like when you look at it from the side or whatever, I'm like, huh. I thought it was kind of like a visual thing where you look at the Optimus one, it's like that fucking thick, right? You look at the hydrocopper, it's like this. I'm like, I kind of don't want to spend money on that. You know what I mean? I'd rather spend an extra $50 or $100 and get a heat killer. Then you know you got a good one, right? Yeah, IT is the quarantine profession, man. It is what it is. Let me just catch up here. First and last EVGA for me too, man. I don't know what they're doing this fucking generation. Like every single product, one after another, has been such a letdown this generation. Why the did you go look at what's his name? Alpha Gaming, the streamer guy, Harris Heller or whatever. Alpha Gaming, Harris Heller. EVGA sent him a Stream SR2 or whatever the hell it was, their capture card. He roasted that fucking thing, dude. He's like, this is the shittiest built fucking capture card. He's like dangling it like this and the plastic's like falling off and shit. He's like, what the fuck is this? There's like this like mystery dial on top that like doesn't do anything. It like changes the RGB. What the fuck is EVGA doing, man? Oh my god. I'm glad that he roasted it though. Like, and then like, their capture card captures like 1080p 30 and it costs like $400. Like it's like and it's made of plastic. It's fucked, dude. Oh, they didn't send him one. He actually bought it. Good to know, Chamber. See, man? They're sketchy as fuck this generation, dude. They are so fucking sketchy, man. EVGA is going the fucking MSI route. Oh man, fuck. It's fucking brutal, dude. Brutal. 40C with Strix water block stock BIOS. Oh yeah, dude. That'll never go above 40. It depends on how many radiators you have, obviously, and how long you're playing for and all that stuff, but yeah. No one cares about future-proofing when you upgrade every year. No shit, dude. With the way our market is going right now, people just want to buy any, like, you know what Precision Sheared 100. You can go, man, go. I'll be how long are we at? 40 minutes. I'll be on for at least another hour. You go, man, go do your thing. No problem. We haven't even started the big Navi comparisons yet. But what I was gonna say was, thanks for the bits, by the way, dude. I love the bits. What I was gonna say was, half of it is psychological because everyone's staying home right now all the time. It's like, if you're not used, like us nerds, we're used to being home all the fucking time and gaming, so we're not really as affected as other people are. So if you're the kind of guy that likes to go out to the clubs every Friday or whatever, and all of a sudden all that shit's locked down, or your favorite bar or pub of choice is locked down, and then you're looking for some kind of vice to fill the time, buying PC hardware or like buying a PlayStation gives you a feeling. It's a dopamine spike. It's a fucking, you know what I mean? Like it makes you happy. Like consumerism makes you happy. So you go on Amazon, you buy a graphics card, you put it in your computer, you see like 50 more FPS, it makes you happy. You're like, oh right, I get to fucking enjoy some shit. Like it makes the feeling of the pandemic go away a little bit, right? Or it makes you forget temporarily. And then what's the easiest way to do that again? Just next year. When the 4080 comes out, just do it again. Just keep spending your money, like as long as this pandemic is fucking in place, right? But even like honestly, even people that have 2080 Ti's, they don't have to upgrade, man. Like, they don't have to buy shit. Like, the 2080 Ti still performs fucking incredibly. It has DLSS. It has RT that's still better than Big Navi. Like, it has, like, this still has all the bells and whistles, man. Like, if a pandemic wasn't going on right now, you wouldn't have to upgrade this. You would just wait for the 4000 series. But I guarantee that all these fucking people are panicking because they're at home, right? They're at home. I think you'll be fine, Mark. Mark, why would they fuck you over? For everyone that doesn't know, Mark, Markwa in the chat here, he had the same mounting pressure problem on his Strix. He sent it in for RMA. It got RMA'd. He shipped it out. He got it. What was it, Mark? Like less than 2 weeks? A week and a half or whatever? And he's getting his card back tomorrow? 16th to the 23rd. How many days is that? Hey, this is the same song as the one in my video. I got the song from here. Hazer subscribed with Prime. Hey man, thanks for the sub. I really appreciate it. I'll get you a Discord link before we go. Yeah, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, 7 days. That's not even 5 business days. So like Asus has a really bad rep for RMA and warranty and stuff, but with the one experience that I've seen with Mark here, they got that shit. They got him a 3090 Strix there and back in 7 days, dude. That seems fine to me. I would be okay with buying Asus if that if their turnaround time is that quick for an RMA, dude. That you have to also account that means that they got the card, took it apart and tested it and then sent him back. Like, that's a lot of work to be doing in 5 days, right? That's impressive. Very impressive for 5 days. So if that's the case, I would highly recommend Asus right now. Even though the Strix 3090 has mounting pressure problems, it has the bearing noise problem. Nycro98, that's up for the follow, man. I totally lost my train of thought there. I was listening to the music, that's why. It has the bearing noise on the center fan problem, coil whine. Like, a lot of reports of the Strix doing all this shit. These two might be the same, where people can't tell what's happening, but Asus RMA'd their card in a week. So if you have any of these fucking symptoms, you know you can get a card in a week, which is fine. That's fine. It's like what we were saying before with the Further Win 3 and EVGA and all that shit. Mistakes happen. Like, this shit does happen. Their design is fucked. It does happen. Whatever. They rushed the cards out. What did Asus do differently? They got him the card back in a week. Less than a week. You know what I mean? Just go for it. You know they have stock. You know they have RMA stock ready to go. You know what I mean? They're not like selling their fucking cards out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me catch up on the chat here. Whereas if you did that with, like, so with EVGA though, if you tell them that your PCI Express slot is pulling 90 watts or whatever, some fucking crazy shit like that, it's a 50-50 chance they'll actually accept the RMA. They'll just be like, by design, fuck you. Like, it's really fucked, dude. Yeah, it's how will the A40 and A6000 compare to 3090? They won't be good for gaming. Like, they use so they use the same memory trace layout, but they use regular GDDR6, not X. So it would be worse for gaming. And the fully unlocked best binned GA102 is only 84 SM, and a 3090 is 82 SM, right? So let's see here, actually. 384-bit bus times 16 gigabit per second 6144. 384. What the hell is GDDR6X? 621 gigabit divided by 6711. Yeah, so the 3090 has 20% more memory bandwidth than the Quadro, whatever the fuck it is, the A6000 or whatever. So 84 divided by 82, 3% more SM. So taking 20% more bandwidth is way more important than taking 4% more SMs. Because the bandwidth is what makes the game scale so well, right? The 3090, yeah, these are not for gamers at all, dude. Not at all. Don't worry about the extra 2 SMs. If they released a Titan, like if they had a Titan with 24 gigabyte, or even just say 48 gigabyte GDDR6X, and it had 84 SM, you would still only get 4% performance over a 3090 for God knows how much more money. Meh. You're at this point, you're paying more for the professional drivers than you are the gaming performance. You know what I mean? There's nothing really. The 3090 is no compromises card, man. There's no compromises there, gaming wise. Huge compromises in the professional market, but gaming, no. 3090 it up, man. You don't need a water cooler if you have a Strix. If you but you might have to remount it a couple of times. What's your thoughts on PNY 3090? How much power do you think it's fine, dude. It's fine. Let's say, okay, here's how the 2 8-pin thing works here quickly. Double 8-pin. The spec is 150 watts per 8-pin. It's just a spec. It's not necessarily what, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter how much power you pull through it. If you shunt mod the 2 8-pins, what you're limited by is your wire gauge. Going from the PSU to the 8-pins. When the electrical current actually enters the 8-pins, it gets distributed evenly to the VRMs anyway. You know what I mean? So in terms of how much power you can push into it, theoretically as much as a triple 8-pin, providing that you had thick enough wires and the VRM was as good. You know what I mean? So if you have a double 8-pin and you're looking for like 700 watts, just make sure you have 16 gauge wire and go for it. Go to fucking cable mods or whatever and just make sure you order a custom cable kit that's 16 gauge. Or from whatever vendor that you know what I mean? Or double check to see if your power supply comes with 16 gauge. For 2 8-pins. If you're on triple 8-pin, go ahead and use 18 gauge. But you know what though? You know what? I would actually bet that 18 gauge would be fine for 700 watts. You know, it's probably fine. It's not like it's pulling 750 watts like through Time Spy Extreme constantly, right? Games do this. It fluctuates. It doesn't draw as much power in certain areas. Like it's not as simple as that, right? But if you want to be safe, just get 16 gauge power cables. Go fucking nuts, dude. Don't worry about it. Cool the VRMs with a nice water block. They don't get very hot. They're very efficient. You're fine. Yeah, so if you are doing a 2 8-pin, just make sure you have 16 gauge copper, copper wire, 16 gauge, and you know what you can do? Run like Time Spy Extreme on loop for like an hour or two after you do it, and just touch it with your hands, dude. If the cables feel warmer than ambient temperature at all, then just go to a 14 gauge. That's what I would do. You don't have to do any of this fucking crazy math shit. Just pull like 800 watts through Time Spy Extreme for a few hours. Make it like hours, dude. Like simulate a worst case scenario for yourself, like hours and hours and hours of gaming. touch it with your hand, see if it gets warm. If it feels warm at all, just go 1 gauge up, and then just keep doing that. You know what I mean? And then you just pull as much fucking power as you want through those things, man. I am not responsible for you burning your house down, though. You did not hear it from me. We just chase frames here. We don't give fucking 1880s electrical aluminum fucking power cord advice here. Even the 324 thing is still a mathematical spec, from what Deadman was saying. So you know how you have CPU connectors on the motherboard, right? And each CPU connector, like each 8-pin CPU connector, is good for 100. Billzoid has some good videos on this. Go watch his motherboard analysis videos. So if you have 2 8-pins for your CPU, it's 300 watts theoretical, right? They started doing connectors. It's still 8 pins, but the connector itself has like a thicker prong is a good word, like a thicker prong to it. You can actually pull like 300 watts through each 8-pin now, even though you're using the same cable. Just because and like those new connectors have like grounding, shielding around it and all that fucking crazy shit. So when you say that each 8-pin has a 324 watt limit, that would be true for like a card where like the 8-pin prongs are like this thin. You know what I mean? But like the cards are so fucking overbuilt. But even if this is true, let's say this is true, before you quote unquote overload it, which doesn't fucking happen, it would just work anyway. Mathematical theories and reality are very, very different, right? Very different. But let's say 325 watts anyway, times 2, that's 650. 650. You're still not including the PCI Express slot, right? If you shunt that too, you can pull 100 watts from there. You're at your 750 anyway. You're fine, dude. And no game is gonna pull more than 750. No fucking game, dude. Let me catch up here. Yes, exactly, White Ren. Yes. The first thing I noticed with the Strix cooler versus my the Furtherwind 3 cooler, the standoffs are perfectly flush with the PCB. The Strix cooler pokes out of it, and then the springs go over top of it. It just doesn't fucking work, dude. I was thinking about actually shaving those down to see if it fixed it, but the O-rings fixed it for me anyway, so I didn't have to. But that's exactly why. I would assume. I'm not an engineer, but that's one of the glaringly obvious things that I noticed first, was what the Strix prongs were going through. EVGA used to be a fantastic company, man. Not 5 nanometer, probably not. You would assume that, so Apple is on 5nm right now. You would assume that AMD is going to go 5nm on the next one, so Apple first. All 5nm production is Apple right now. Apple will then go to 3nm, or whatever the next fucking node is. That frees up all the supply for AMD next, right? That frees up all the supply for Nvidia next. Then what happens is, once all this supply is freed up, the 7nm node is gonna be cheap as fuck, dude. Nvidia's gonna be all over that shit, dude. All over that shit. That cheap fucking node, dude. Nvidia always stays one node behind for the cheapness. And it doesn't matter. Look at Big Navi anyway. Big Navi clocks at 2500 on 7nm. Imagine a 3090 at 2500, dude. There's your fucking 4000 series right there. That's all they have to do. That's literally all they have to fucking do. Is just go to 7nm, 2500, What's the performance gain there, actually? And it would scale because it has the bandwidth for it, right? 2500 divided by 2200. 14% bump like that, dude. With no architectural changes whatsoever, 14% bump right off the bat. Just by doing that. That would be like a super refresh. You know what I mean? So Nvidia's definitely going 7nm next generation. I don't see them going to 5nm. Especially not competing with supply with AMD. They want their own supply line, right?